Hello, my charmed ones, and welcome back to my channel for another video. Today's video is actually another video productivity tool for you to use and reference as needed as part of your regular planning routine. I'm going to be walking you through a guided brain dump session today. So if you're ready, let's get started. For those of you who do not know what a brain dump is, this is a regular part of my functional planning process that I personally schedule to do on a monthly basis. However, plenty of people do one of these on a daily basis or every week or just as needed. A brain dump is when you actually unpack everything that you've been holding on to in your mind, all of those big and little thoughts, plans, dreams, and ideas, get them out of your head and on to paper. So essentially, anything that you've been trying to remember instead of writing it down and planning, that's what we're going to brain dump out onto either a piece of paper or into a digital notes app of some sort. Now, because I am a paper junkie and because I'm familiar with research on how effective it is to actually write things out by hand, I actually perform my brain dump with a pen and paper. Specifically, I use a set of dedicated brain dump inserts that come bundled with my master plan system. However, you can purchase these inserts from my shop a la carte if you please, or you can use a plain piece of paper. I'll leave you links for the inserts in the description box if you're interested. So these are actually the inserts that I use when I'm performing my brain dump. One side of the spread is a simple list with checkboxes so that I can list things out, check them off if I need to ensure that I've processed all of my ideas. And then on the right side of the page, I have what I call my organize and act sheet. Now, what makes my brain dump process a little bit different than other processes you may have seen out there is that I use this prioritization matrix that's known as the Eisenhower matrix to help me actually organize some of the information that comes out during a brain dump into appropriate categories so that I can act on that information. As you can see here on this insert, the Eisenhower matrix is just a simple chart that you can use to evaluate tasks by their importance and their urgency. Now, importance is a measure of how priority a task is to you. So if it's important to your work, your objectives, your goals, things that you'd be highly motivated to accomplish would be important. Now, urgency is a measure to establish the due date of a specific task. So tasks can either be urgent or not urgent. Urgent would mean that they need to be worked on immediately or they're due immediately. And then not urgent would mean that you have a little bit more time to actually process that task. So it's not something you need to focus on immediately. So the idea here is that you are going to use the left side of the spread to actually dump out all of those thoughts, plans, dreams, and ideas into your head, get them onto paper, and then you'll use the right side of the spread or an Eisenhower matrix that you've created to actually organize and categorize tasks that may need to be accomplished. So once you have your items listed out, you can evaluate them each by their urgency and their importance. And what happens is you can then move the task and rewrite it into the proper place on the chart that it actually belongs to. And depending on which quadrant of the matrix you write things down into, they're going to have different associated actions for each. So important and urgent tasks should be put on your immediate to-do list and completed either today or as soon as possible. Important but not urgent tasks should be put on a to-do list and planned to be done at a more appropriate time. So you'll be scheduling these items to do later as opposed to important and urgent, where you're going to want to get them done immediately. Not important, but urgent tasks should really be delegated to a person who actually finds the task to be more important. So sometimes we get tasked with things that are just not important to us, and it's important to hand those things over to people that those tasks do matter to, so that they can work on them if possible. And of course, not important and not urgent tasks should either be deleted, like ignored, scratched out, don't worry about them, or if you think they might be applicable in the future, you can write them out on a someday maybe list, which is just a reference list that you could use to just check up on, like, if it's the right time to execute on a task that you had written out. Now, by no means is the Eisenhower matrix the most thorough tool for evaluating prioritization, but it is an excellent first step to take when organizing information that you've brain dumped, which is why these two pieces together make up my functional planning brain dump process. Also, during the brain dump, you will likely have information written out that doesn't necessarily have an associated task. I brain dump a lot of ideas and information that either needs to be organized onto a reference list or is just a thought or a quote or an idea that I had. There's nothing I need to actually do with it. So you don't need to actually take action on each and everything that you write down during your brain dump process. So for that reason, I personally do end up saving my brain dump lists in my planner, and I'll refer back to them occasionally just to see if there were any ideas on that list that I want to actually take action on. That's the way that I use my tasks that don't really have actions. Instead of doing a someday maybe list, I just kind of leave them on the brain dump list and I'll just refer back to them later. So I do have a couple of older brain dump lists at any time in my planner just so that I can reference those when needed. Now, when you do sit down to perform a brain dump, something that you will find very useful during the process is a brain dump triggers list. This is a list of information intended to help spark your memory of things that you may need to write down, things you've been holding onto in your brain for a very long time that you may not even remember you're remembering. So for many people, myself included, staring at a blank page when I sit down to do this brain dump and just unpacking my thoughts is a little hard, and using a triggers list can make the process easier and much quicker for me. So today, I'm going to guide you through some of the common triggers that I use within this video to help guide you for a more productive and complete brain dump session. So go ahead and grab your brain dump inserts or a pen and paper, grab a drink, shut your door, silence your phone, because we are going to start our brain dump session right now. Okay, so let's get started thinking about some brain dump triggers. I have broken down the triggers into a number of different categories, and I've listed out each individual trigger. As we go through this, just think about the trigger that's popping up on screen and decide if you have any information stored in your head that relates to it. If you need to, absolutely pause this video as we go through. I am going to try to do this slow and steady, but feel free to pause the video in any portions where you need to take extra time to brain dump information. Let's go ahead and get started. The first category is scheduled events. So, do you have any appointments you need to think about, make, or prepare for? How about any meetings? Breakfast, lunch, or dinner dates? Vacations? Parties? School calendars? Special events? Shows? Movies, musical performances, work calendars, or celestial calendars. So let's take a moment to think about these triggers and if we have any information we're storing in our brain that we need to get out to paper. Next category is recurring events. Payday, trash or recycling days, television shows, subscriptions. Think about the recurring events in your life and if there's any action or information you need to record right now to make sure you are well planned and prepared. Next category is special days. Holidays, birthdays, anniversaries, memorials, retirement. Are there any actions or information associated with any special days in your life that you need to record? Next category, projects. Think about your goals, work projects, home projects, school projects, community projects, government projects, church projects, business projects, personal development projects. Are there any projects you have currently going on or are coming up in the future that you have information or ideas you were thinking about but haven't yet written down? Make sure to write them down now. Next category, general tasks. Shopping, online orders, gifts, health examinations, maintenance, cleaning, beauty, donations, music, quotes, movies, books, photographs, videos, podcasts, radio. Are there any general tasks or information related to these triggers that you're thinking about and trying to remember, but you should really just write down? Next category, bills. Home bills, work bills or invoices, credit accounts, school bills, taxes, car payments, loans, investments, banking, renewals, or cancellations. Do you have any bill or financial related thoughts, plans, actions that you've been thinking about taking that you haven't yet written down? Next category, daily tasks. Meals or recipes, self-care, clothing, chores, organization, exercise, mail or packages, sleep, spirituality, emails, faxes, phone calls, voice messages, texts, letters, personal favors. Are there any daily tasks that you have information you're storing in your brain that you should write down so that you can make better and more effective plans? Next category is people. So these could be people in your life you've been thinking about, have ideas for, are making plans for, have things that you are thinking about and working through in your mind that either relates to them or needs to be conveyed to them. So yourself, your partner, children, parents, siblings, family, friends, superiors, co-workers, neighbors, employees, customers, community, teachers, contracted professionals, medical services, church groups, law enforcement, legal and business professionals, and financial or investment professionals. Do you need to talk to, seek out the advice from, or share information with any of these people? And our final category is to check. So with this category, you're actually going to want to go and look, check through the area that I share with you for each trigger. And what you're going to be looking for is anything in that area that jumps out at you, that reminds you of something new that you needed to do, some thought you had, something you needed to remember that really needs to be written down. So I assume you're going to be doing a lot of pausing in this section, and that's absolutely okay. Take as much time as you need. Check your office, your desk, filing cabinets, planners, apps, software, phone, computer, kitchen, living room, dining room, your mail sorter, bedroom, consoles, pantry, laundry, vanity, vehicle, and your storage. Go ahead and take a look at these different areas as much as you can and see if there's anything there you forgot about, need to take action on, or have thoughts or plans you want to record now. So congratulations, you have just successfully completed a brain dump session. Now, I want to make sure that you keep this video link handy for the next time that you need to do a brain dump. And I actually recommend you go ahead right now and just schedule someplace in your planner that makes logical sense to you, another period of time for you to sit down and do this brain dump. Like I said in the intro, a lot of people do this on a daily or weekly basis. I do this on a monthly basis only because I've gotten into a very good habit of always writing down my thoughts and plans and dreams and ideas. So I tend to have less information that's produced during one of these sessions. But it's incredibly common when you first get started with using a planner, writing things down, brain dumping, that it actually takes you much longer to complete a session. So next time you do this, I'm sure you're going to get a little bit better. You may even, after you walk away from the session, have some more ideas for things that you need to write down, and just feel free to keep adding to your brain dump list. And of course, make sure that you take the action to either prioritize them onto the Eisenhower matrix and get them scheduled in their appropriate place, or just make sure you have a plan for what you're going to do with the information that you don't necessarily need to take action on right now. I hope this video becomes a tremendous resource for you in getting your big thoughts and plans, dreams and ideas out of your head and onto paper. I hope you've enjoyed this, so make sure to please give this video a thumbs up. Feel free to share it with anyone you want to teach to do their own brain dump. I'm sure we all know some people in our lives that could really use the help of a brain dump. If you would like to see more of the behind the scenes of my productivity life and business, make sure you're following me on Instagram at MissTrenchcoat. And if you're not yet subscribed to this channel, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button for more awesome videos by me. And until next time, bye-bye.